Howdy hi, I'm John's dad. Welcome back. You're watching the final video in my series on planning for and hiking the King's Trail, or Kungsleden, in northern Sweden. This was such an awesome experience. I hope after watching these videos that you have started your planning. The next hiking season starts in just under a year. Perfect timing. This is a trip you will never forget. You'll tell your grandchildren about it. They will tell their grandchildren about it. You will become a family legend talked about for generations. In fact, I suspect my family talks quite a bit about me already. As I promised, this final video in the series will be a Q&A video to answer some of the questions people have sent to me. It'll be my last Kungsleden video for now. If you see me on the trail next summer, please don't be shy. I'm sure Uni would like to get a picture with you. Several people noticed that the music played in the background is not the typical music clips provided by video editing software. Indeed, it's not. Instead, I selected Sweden's national anthem called Gamla Du Fria, which means You Old, You Free. I found a version recorded by the artist Rebecca Gustafsson. Only the karaoke version was used up until the last videos. The Swedish national anthem talks about the beautiful mountains in the north, loveliest green landscapes on earth, memories embedded in the land. It talks about wanting to live and die in Sweden. It provides the perfect foundation for the story of Kungsleden that I'm sharing. What is the tread or the actual trail surface like? Here are some pictures of what you should expect the trail conditions to be like. You see that sometimes it is a flat dirt trail, and sometimes it has a few rocks. Sometimes it has a lot of rocks. Sometimes it is steep. Sometimes it is dry, and sometimes it is a mud pit. Sometimes there's a solid bridge, and sometimes there's not. It's never a crazy and dangerous rock scramble that you might see on other trails. You would have to try really hard to slip and fall to your death, though cuts and bruises are possible. In reality, it is a fairly tame trail. It is not to be feared. What about the weather? Remember, you're in northern Sweden. You're not even close to the equator anymore. While we can't talk about the actual weather you'll experience, we can talk about the climate. For temperature, you should expect that quite often it may go below freezing on both the Fahrenheit and Celsius scales. If it goes above 20 Celsius or 70 Fahrenheit, you should consider that a heat wave. It can go up to 30 degrees Celsius and 80 degrees Fahrenheit too. Assume it will be windy all day long. If it's not windy, then you've got a bonus day. The only problem is that the mosquitoes will come out when the wind is calm, so praying for a wind is my recommendation. You'll notice as you watch YouTubes from Kungsleden that there is rarely any wind in the videos. That's because when it's windy, you can't record any sound. The Kungsleden videos with narration are dubbed afterwards or are recorded in areas sheltered from the wind. People make videos in emergency shelters a lot. You've probably noticed that, right? The constant wind surprised me because I didn't notice when other YouTubers were or were not recording their videos. Typically, the wind will die down in the evening and overnight when the sun is not shining as strong. You will get rained on. Rain is expected on about half the days. It isn't every other day, which would be kind of nice. Instead, you'll get light or maybe heavy rain for a couple days, then will stop raining but remain cloudy. When it is sunny, the views will take your breath away. I go through the clothes and gear recommendations quite a bit in my book and in earlier videos. So let me just say now that you need to bring the layers of clothes you need to survive and thrive in the weather I just described. Windy, wet, cold, warm. One thing I haven't mentioned before is that you will rarely get hot and sweaty, even when Kungsleden goes up a steep hill like it does on the way up to Chakcha Pass, the highest point on Kungsleden. The predominantly lower temperatures and the solid breeze will keep you cool. You may have experienced on other trails that you get hot and stinky and sweaty and you start to ferment in your own filth. One really nice thing about Kungsleden is the moderate climate. You might be working hard, but you'll still be comfortable. What tent should you bring? People have obviously been asking about the gear they need, especially their tent. But half the tents I saw were tunnel tents like those sold by Hilleberg or Fjällräven. These tents are designed to survive blizzard force winds with lots of snow and ice. They are expensive and heavy. The question people are asking is, do I need a tunnel tent that weighs more than 3 kilos or 6 pounds? The other half of the tents tend to be traditional tents like those sold by MSR, Big Agnes, Durston, Hyperlight Mountain Gear, Skalmo, Gossamer Gear, Six Moon Design, you know all the names. These tents use traditional fabrics as well as strong and lightweight fabrics like Dyneema. These tents weigh far under 3 kilos and often under 1 kilo. But are they strong enough for Kungsleden, you ask? I would love to be able to guarantee a successful tent choice, but really, all I can say is that lots of people have been successful with lots of different tents. The tent you normally use will probably be fine. Take what you normally use and set it up in areas protected from the wind as much as possible. Let me know how it works out for you. What kind of insurance do you need? I struggled with the decision on what insurance coverages I needed. The 3 basic types are medical, travel, and search and rescue. Search and rescue is often just referred to as SAR. Let's talk about travel insurance first. As I've gotten older, I've started buying travel insurance to cover interruptions in my travel plans. This has nothing to do with backpacking or Kungsleden. Flight changes and cancellations, train maintenance, delays, illness. It covers delays caused by illnesses in my immediate family, even if they're not traveling with me. At my age, a lot of things can go wrong. You have to make your own decisions. Are you putting a lot of time and money at risk without travel insurance? I'm sick of talking about medical insurance, so let's examine it one more time. My medical insurance in the States does not cover anything once I cross the border outbound. I did have to seek medical care in Sweden when I was younger, and it cost a fortune, and they wanted it paid up front in cash and on the spot. It was good medical care. I am not complaining about that a bit. For medical insurance, I have to have it. It's a requirement. SAR, or Search and Rescue Insurance, is a tough decision to make. One of my fears was that I would be unable to complete Kungsleden because of a physical problem. I wasn't actually too worried about an injury, though things can happen. I expected that either my general physical condition would be insufficient, so I would collapse clutching my chest, or that my new artificial knee would fail, leaving me writhing in pain in one of the mud pits. I opted for the SAR insurance offered through my Garmin account. It costs about $40 US per year. I think it can be described as best effort insurance. They'll make their best effort to find you if you're presumed to be alive. It is, after all, search and rescue insurance. If there's nothing to rescue, then there's no reason to make a search. What I ended up purchasing was overlapping insurance policies that included total medical care, SAR, and travel insurance, up to including the return of my body, dead or alive, all the way from wherever it was found in the Swedish mountains to a hospital or funeral home of my choice in the States. The cost varies based on your age, where you come from, where you're going to, how long you'll be away. I really can't advise you on exactly what insurance you have, but it's definitely something you need to have under control before you leave home. The insurance policies I bought came from Garmin, World Nomad, and Travel Guard. I'll put a link to all of them in the video notes. There are a lot of companies that sell this service, and since I unfortunately never needed to use any of them, I can't really give you a review. All other websites worked fine. What else can I say? How do I protect myself from wild animals? I actually kind of wish wild animals were an issue. You'll be lucky if you see any big animals, besides the reindeer. People even sleep with food in their tents because animals have not associated people with food. The animals don't even care that you're out there. Reindeer are a little skittish and want nothing to do with us. In fact, we're a huge danger to them by just being in the mountains. Stay as far away as you can for their safety. If we spook them, they might abandon their calves. There are animals that can be dangerous to humans. Black bear, elk, moose, wild boars, wolves, ticks, mosquitoes, gnats. We'll talk about those little guys shortly. If you're among the lucky people to see some big animals, keep your distance. Stay a long way away. Do not get closer for a better picture. If you do feel threatened in some way, move together as a group. Move slowly away. Wave your arms and make lots of noise. Let me know if this doesn't work for you so I can adjust my advice for the next people. What about those little animals like ticks, mosquitoes, and gnats? Your memories of Kungsleden hike might be dominated by thoughts, bad thoughts about mosquitoes. They can be vicious, but were troublesome for me only on one day. The wind had died down and we set up camp in a grove of birch trees that was a perfect breeding ground. We lit a smoky fire to chase them away. I honestly wasn't bothered by any bugs on Kungsleden. They rarely bothered me on any other trails either. Here's a link to a video showing how you can treat your clothes with permethrin. Permethrin will discourage all of those pests. You can also apply DEET or picaridin to your exposed skin. I hate how these things taste, so I avoid using them. Can I bring food into Sweden? Yeah, not a problem at all. You're bringing in processed food, dehydrated or freeze-dried food, and maybe food you've purchased commercially, right? You're not bringing in raw meat and fresh vegetables. That's the only kind of food that they have a problem with. There's plenty of opportunity in the urban areas to buy that fresh fruit on your way to Kungsleden. Do I have enough experience to hike Kungsleden? This is a question I struggled with, especially given my age, general condition, and a recently healed artificial knee operation. The bottom line is this. If you are seriously considering hiking for a month or even a week in the Swedish mountains, then you already have enough hiking, camping, backpacking skills to be successful. Do not overthink this. The cabins are a day's hike apart, so you are really just considering 20 back-to-back day hikes. Maybe that's an oversimplification, okay, but not really. Apply for your passport, get your tickets, you can do this. What's the best source of information about Kungsleden, besides these videos, of course? Obviously, I need to plug my book, John's Dad Hikes Kungsleden, The Guide to Hiking the King's Trail in Sweden. It's not the only good source of information, though. I primarily used this book during my planning. One of my family used the same book. It was the first thing we talked about when we met in Kvikjok. It presents the information at an appropriate level of detail. Some of the books I read had far too much detail in every page. For example, I read this passage in one of them. After you cross the river, you'll see 2 round rocks on the right side of the trail. The lingonberry patch 20 meters off the left of the trail, just beyond those rocks, was full of ripe berries. What? How is that even useful? If you decide to carry a heavy book with you, are you really going to be referring to it at every river crossing? I don't think so. I gotta say too that you'll make a lot of river crossings every day. It would be hard to decide which river should trigger your search for the round rocks and the lingonberries. I recently retired from an IT career where I spent decades working as a project manager. I laid out my Kungsleden book much like I would a project plan. The information you need is presented in the sequence you need it in as you work through your own planning and decision-making process. The checklists and appendices are easy reference to important details. The Kindle version is probably the best option for you. It saves you a lot of money, and you can take it with you on Kungsleden with no weight penalty. How about my STF benefits, Swedish Tourist Association benefits? We're getting close to the end. Next is a video showing you where on the STF website you should look to get those discounts for lodging and train travel. It's not totally obvious. After you've joined STF, you can go to their website. Now I've already logged in, but you can go log in. You log in as a member and scroll down, use your member benefits, 10% travel with Swedish Iron Road or Swedish Railroad. Click in here. Here they remind you about the 10% discount, and the discount you get includes that. So let's just say you want to go from Stockholm Central to Abisko, Östra. To get the discount on lodging, it's a little bit easier. You still need to log in as a member. Go to their website. Right here on their main page, they give you an option. We're going to go to Abisko. We'll go to the tourist station. Go over here and click search. Now you have a whole mess of different rooms you can pick from, and each of them have different conditions and all of that. So it's just something for you to read through and decide which one's appropriate for you. I'm just going to grab this first one. I'm going to book this. You can include breakfast, dinners, all for add-on costs. And if you're not an STF member, you have to add 100 crowns. The benefit that you get as an STF member is you do not need to add that. This is as easy as it gets. If you have any questions or want me to go over it again, please just leave a note below. I'd be glad to help however I can. Thanks for watching this Kungsleden video series. This will be the last Kungsleden video until I hike it again, hopefully next summer. If you see me out there, I would love to get a picture of you with Uni. If you have more questions or comments, please leave them below. If I don't have the answer you're looking for, I probably know the person who does. It really helps the channel if you share it with your friends. The John's Dad Hikes channel is approaching 1,000 subscribers, and I'm pretty excited to connect with this many people. You don't need to talk your old Aunt Mabel into subscribing. The actual numbers don't mean a lot to me. I'm hoping for subscribers who are truly interested in a life outdoors. My goal is to help as many people as I can in the short time I have remaining. You know, if your old Aunt Mabel likes to backpack, then by all means, bring her into the group. See you later, bye. Hej då!
Du gamla, du fria, du fjällhöga nord. Du tysta, du glädjerika sköna. Jag hälsar dig värnaste land upp på jord. Din sol, din himmel, dina ängder gröna. Din sol, din himmel, dina ängder gröna. Du trånar på minnen från fornstora dagar.